I see. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay, so Venerable Sangha, Siales, and all the Dhamma friends. So I'd like to welcome you all to the course on the Kusalattika Paṭṭhāna. And I'm happy to see so many students showing their interest to learn this profound Dhamma. Yes.
好，尊敬的各位老师、各位尼师、各位贤友，大家晚上好。请允许我为大家来翻译本次的发趣论善三法内容的翻译。首先呢，老师呢，他表示非常开心呢，能够在今天看到这么多的德高望重的大德们能够前来参与课程，能够表现出对于发趣课程的兴趣，尊者感觉到非常的开心。
Yes, to share about a little bit on the background of our class, that it has been almost 2 years since that I got this invitation from the Chinese friends, Chinese Dhamma friends, including Bhante Kassapa, and also from Siale Aganyani and the other Dhamma friends from the West. But I could not allocate some time to do this because it takes a lot of time for the preparation and all. And I was quite busy with teaching the Sangha and with other things. So nevertheless, now we have come to a point, a situation that the conditions are there for us to teach this profound Dhamma.
好，那么尊者呢？他说，在过去的2年之中，他一直致力于对于阿毗达摩内容的教导，尤其是在过去的一段时间之中，也有在网上对大家进行有关于发趣论内容的讲解以及教学。那在这个过程当中呢，作为尊者的中国的朋友以及他的下座，即是我比库卡萨巴，还有包括来自于德国的塞亚雷阿卡尼亚尼。以及其他的贤友们，他们的努力，那这些课程呢得以顺利的开展。那在过去的在过去的一段时间之中呢，尊者一直在忙着去教导他的僧众们，还有呢在忙着去编辑他的书籍，所以呢，在很长一段时间之中呢，都没有将我们的课程呢开展起来。
Yes. So now you might be wondering that why we are learning the 7th book, the part in the Abhidhamma Pitaka, right? So in the Abhidhamma, there are 7 books, Abhidhamma Pitaka, and then you might be wondering why we are learning this 7th book, right? So one reason is that the Dhamma friends, all of them showed they were very keen to learn this Dhamma, and also according to the commentaries on how the Dhamma is disappearing, in the sequence of disappearing from the Tipitaka. The first treatise, Dhamma treatise, which is going to disappear, is the Patthana. And interestingly, in the commentary, it says that when this disappearing of the Dhamma takes place, especially with the Abhidhamma, starting from the Patthana. So first the meaning, the meanings will disappear, right? The meanings and how to get the true meaning, get the essence out of the Dhamma will disappear, and only the Pali will remain, right? So as time goes by, then the Pali will too disappear from the Tipitaka. So what we are really doing is that, yes, nowadays, especially for the non-Burmese Theravada communities, we really don't have a method. We don't have a system to learn the Patthana in detail, like as done in the Myanmar. So that is one reason that I'm teaching this Patthana here instead of teaching the other 6 books in the Abhidhamma.
那在这里呢，为什么我们要去学习阿毗达摩？尤其是我们为什么要去学习阿毗达摩当中的最后一部论，第7部论发趣论？那首先，老师想要去提及的是，有很多的法友，他们非常想要学习这一部分。再者呢，在注释之中呢，特别的提及，当正法开始消亡的时候，将首先从论藏之中的最后一部论，也就是最大的大论发趣论开始消亡。有趣的是，在译注之中也这样提及，在首先从发趣论开始消亡的时候，发趣论的含义将先会消失，它的巴利的巴利的语义将会留存。那之后呢，不仅仅是它们的含义会丢失，巴利文也会丢失。现在我们正在做的是，为了那些非以缅语为母语的上座部的团体，包括僧众和在家人，因为他们不知道在缅甸长久以来所传承的系统教学的方法，所以在这里，老师以这样的方式来去教导大家发趣论，而不是以其他的方法。
So what we will be learning is in this Kusalattika Paṭṭhāna course is it will be based on the Burmese methods in Myanmar, like how the teachers, the sayadaws in the Burmese tradition, they had a very strong tradition and the continuation of the learning of the Abhidhamma. And with that, there have been a lot of developments and methods to learn the Patthana in a quite easy way. We know this Dhamma is very profound. The Patthana itself is profound, but the shadows have developed the system to learn it. So throughout the last few centuries, so there have been a lot of developments in learning on the Patthana. So so what I'll be teaching here will be based on that. So based on the books that I'll be using is from the Mula Patthana Sayadaw and many other Sayados who taught Abhidhamma in Myanmar, and I will be using that material. And I translated based on those books in Myanmar. I translated and compiled one book for the Sinhalese communities, which I published, and that book will be translated to English during the course, and subsequently Bante Kassapa and the Chinese Dhamma friends, they will be translating it to the Chinese language. So it's going to be very beneficial for our community if we can continue this course until the end. And one more thing, one good news I received at the moment. So there is one scholar called B Pyo Cho, and she's a scholar on Abhidhamma and the Burmese meditation. I mean the Theravada in Burmese, in the Burmese Burmese tradition. So she compiled some scholarly articles, one scholarly article especially on the development of the methods in Patthana. So I requested her about, I thought that we should learn about these methods and a little bit on the history as well. So she also, she said she would like to, when I invited, she said she accepted my invitation to teach, to do a small presentation on the history as well. So yes.
好，所以呢，在这里我们将要学习的这个课程是发趣论的善三法的课程。那我们将要教导的内容呢，是基于传统的以缅甸语所教导的教学方法。在缅甸，尤其是 自古以来的缅甸的这些大长老们，他们具有着教导发趣论的传统以及长久以来的方法。在长久的学习发趣论的过程当中，他们对于教学的体系有着长足的发展，并且呢，也有很多的整理，从而呢，整理出了很多便捷的、简易的方法来方便学者们去进行学习。那尤其是在这次的系列的课程当中，我们会参考穆拉巴塔纳西亚多、纳拉达西亚多，还有其他的一些在缅甸教学发趣论的相关的缅语教材，来去展开我们的课程。那同时呢，老师他也基于这些的教材翻译编辑而出版了一本以辛哈雷语所编写的教导发趣论的方法。那这本书呢，现在是以辛哈雷语所撰写。那现在老师呢，也在尝试着在他的朋友的帮助之下，他的学生的帮助之下，将这本书翻译成英语。那我呢，以及我们的这些以中文语言作为学习的这些贤友们，也会帮助尊者将这本书呢翻译成中文，来利益我们的团体，我们的上座部的团体。尤其是如果大家可以学习这个系列课程一直到最后，那并且呢。老师呢，他有联系一位缅甸的遵循上座部传统的以缅语进行教学的一个学者。这个学者的名字呢，刚刚老师有提及。那他呢，也在学术领域上有发表一些的文章。那他对于发趣论的学习呢，有着很好的学术的这个学术资源的综述。文献的背景的研究。那在这里，当老师对他发出邀请，希望他能够为我们去介绍相关的内容的时候呢，这位学者也接受了老师的邀请，在之后呢，会为大家来去进行这方面内容的介绍。
Right. So now we will move into the lessons straight away. So yeah, so we will move into the lessons straight away, and and so I will be using a couple of materials again, which was compiled by a few shadows, Myanmar shadows related to Pa-Auk Meditation Center. So one is from Shadow Ukansa, and also the other one will be from Shadow Janaka Vivansa. I will be using some material to introduce some pachas. So yes.
现在呢，让我们一起来转入到有关于助缘的学习。那在我们最开始对大家所教导的内容之中，我们将会引用参考一些的教材。这些的教材呢，是为缅甸的这些长老们所使用的，尤其是来自于缅甸的奥禅林的这些长老们，他们所使用的教材，我们将会使用。西亚多乌冈萨以及呢西亚多扎纳嘎阿比王萨之前在讲解发学论之时所引用过的教材，来去为大家讲解助缘。
Okay, so regarding the background, I think that you all know the story and when the Buddha he preached the Abhidhamma. So he preached the Abhidhamma in the Deva realm in the Tawatinsa heaven uh, to his former mother and uh, many many devas who gathered from 10,000 world systems.
那么有关于阿毗达摩讲解的背景呢，是佛陀呢，他曾经前往33天，为已经投生为天子的生母，也就是过去的大摩耶夫人，来去讲解阿毗达摩，并且呢，在那时有来自1万个轮回界的天人们同时到场，来去聆听佛陀所讲解的阿毗达摩。
So the word Abhidhamma, it's derived from two components. So it's the first one is Dhamma. Dhamma means the teaching or doctrine. So there is this prefix called Abhi. Abhi means excelling or higher. So when it is combined, the commentaries explain it as, which means excelling teaching, or high doctrine.
首先，我们来看一下阿比达嘛，阿毗达摩这个词它的含义。这个词它是复合词，由两个词根所构成，就是阿毗和达玛。达玛的含义是法，阿毗的含义呢是更高，或者说更殊胜。因此，所谓的阿毗达玛，它的含义呢就是指更高的或更殊胜的法。
Okay, so Sayadaw has included some details regarding the benefits of contemplating and reciting of Patthana. So in Myanmar, there is a strong tradition throughout many generations. They chant Patthana to overcome difficulties and also to accumulate a lot of merits and for many other reasons. So Sayadaw has included a few, right? Overcoming all dangers, anxieties, worries, and suffering faced by him, escaping from all dangers that befall him, accomplishing all the moral actions which are faultless and produce good results.
在缅甸传统上，是在很多的世代之中，缅甸人他们都喜欢来去念诵发趣论。透过思维和念诵发趣论，他们将能够获得很多的利益以及保护。比如说，在此他们可以获得如下的利益：他们可以克服所面对的一切危难、焦虑、担忧以及苦痛，可以脱离所降临的一切危险，可以完成一切能带来可益果报之善业。
Further, refraining from committing all immoral actions which are faulty and produce bad results, accomplishing all good works that he is doing, realizing Nibbana in his last existence. So we see some worldly benefits and also finally the ultimate benefit of realizing Nibbana as using the Patthana for meditation.
再者呢，透过思维和念诵巴塔纳发趣论，可以随时获得以下的利益：第一，远离一切带来不可以果报的恶业，圆满正在进行的一切善行，以及在最后一世证悟涅槃。在此，我们可以看到，透过思维念诵，乃至于透过实践巴塔纳发趣论，大家能够获得世间的利益以及出世间的利益。尤其是借由禅修。
So after the Buddha, after his attainment after he became the Buddha, after he gained the enlightenment, there were 7 places, 7 weeks that he spent, right? So these are the 7 places, and in the fourth week is the time, place that he first reflected on the Abhidhamma.
在佛陀于菩提树下获得觉悟之后，佛陀在这样的7个地方分别度过了1个礼拜，一共呢是7个礼拜。在这其中，在第4个礼拜的时候，佛陀在宝屋之中醒思了发趣论的内容。
Okay. So you can see them in the screen, the weeks, right? So what happened, what was special about the 4th week is that when he started reflecting the Abhidhamma in the golden house, it's called Ratanagara in Pali. So he spent reflecting, right? So he started from reflecting the Abhidhamma, starting from the first Abhidhamma book from the Dhammasan, and eventually, subsequently, he reflected till the 7th book, the Patthana.
那么在第四周，佛陀，为什么四维发趣论被称之为是一个特殊呢？因为在佛陀开始去醒思发趣论的时候，佛陀首先从第一部的法集论开始醒思，一直醒思到第七部的发趣论。
Now this slide has been repeated here, right? Yeah. So what happened is that when our master, the Lord Buddha, when he came to reflecting the Abhidhamma, his because he contemplated on this deep Dhamma, on this profound doctrine, there arose great rapture in his omniscient mind, which caused the body to emit colored rays. So that's what happened in that when he was reflecting the Patthana. So that's one special thing that we need to know here is that it's because of the profound Dhamma which resulted in emitting the colored rays, and it's the first time it happened in the Lord Buddha's life.
那在佛陀完成对于发趣论的醒思之后，因为他所思维的发趣论的法义甚深，所以在那时佛陀强烈的喜于他一切知识的心中升起，而导致他的身体发出六色的光芒。那这是一个非常重要以及特殊的，需要我们去铭记的，因为所思维的法义的深奥。所以这是在佛陀有生以来第一次，能够散发出六色的光芒。
Yes. Now we move into the 7 books of Abhidhamma, just to know the names. So I believe you may have learned at least some of you may have learned some of these, maybe at least 1 or 2 of these treatises, and some may not have. Yes, but nevertheless, we'll go through them. So the first book is called Dhammasangani. Second one is Vibhanga. Third one is Dhatu Katha. Fourth one is Puggala Panyati. Fifth, Kathavattu. Sixth, Yamaka. The seventh one is what we are learning, the Patthana. Right? So the English names are given in this side.
我们来看一下，那所谓阿毗达摩的七部论是哪七部论呢？想必在座的各位已经有学习过在这其中的一些论的内容，有一些呢则没有学过。我们来逐一看一下有哪七部论。第一部论是法集论，第二部是分别论，第三部是戒论，第四部是人事摄论，第五部是论事，第六部是双论，第七部即是发趣论Patthana。
Right. So now we move into the slide which explains about the conditional relations, right? The meaning of Patthana, right? So again, there are 2 words here, right? Not 2 words, yeah, Thana is 1 word and Pa is a prefix. So that's how this word Patthana is derived. Pa, Thana, Pa, Thana becomes Patthana, right? So the meaning of Pa, meaning means like this is a prefix. So this prefix, when it is used in with the word Tana, so here it means various, right? Various. And Tana means cause or condition, Tana, right? So Patthana means which the meaning, the literal meaning, the etymological meaning, which is related, which is directly connected to the ultimate realities, is that various causes or conditions. That's the meaning of Patthana.
我们来看一下这里的 Patthana 它的含义。这个词它由这样的2个部分所构成，第一个部分是 ba，第二个部分是 Thana。那这里的 ba 它是前缀，它的含义呢，即是表达各种各样的、各式各样的。那 Thana 它的含义呢，可以是因、理由或者是缘，因此它们合在一起，把 Thana 的 含义呢，就表达各种类型的缘，各种的因缘。
Right. So there are a couple of things we need to know here in the Patthana. Few things, right? So we'll have to learn many concepts, many new words, many new ideas. So one of the things that we need to know here is the conditioning states, condition states, and condition force. Right? In Pali, the conditioning states is it's called the paccayadhamma. So it refers to the actual course, right? So we know that our Dhamma, uh, the whole Dhamma, right? So if we understand the whole Tipitaka, the doctrine of the Buddha, so it's the Dhamma based on cause and effect, right? It's based on the cause and effect, right? So here, it's the cause which is given, right? It refers to the actual cause, and the effect is the condition states, right? So just for the time being, just have in your mind that there are some states, right? Some ultimate realities called the conditioning states, and it's another set of ultimate realities which are condition states. So in Pali, it's called paccayuppannadhamma. So you have the relationship here between the cause and the effect.
我们来看一下有关于发句论它的定义。那在这里呢，我们有一些是需要去学习的，也就是有关于他们的概念这些所出现的新的词新的 idea。那在这里呢，第一个我们要看到的是 paccayadhamma 原法，第二个呢是 paccayuppannadhamma 原生法，第三个是 paccayasati 原理。什么是原法呢？我们知道，如果我们学习到法，学习了三藏的经典，我们能够明白法呢，它基于因果性。那在这里呢，原法表达的就是因，而原生法呢，表达的就是果。在这里呢，我们对于这些究竟法进行分析的时候呢，我们应当明白，它们当中有一些即是因，有一些呢即是果，就是原生法。
Right. So the third one is called the Paccaya-sati. Paccaya-sati means the condition force, or call it conditioning force. So this is what is special regarding the Patthana. Because in the previous 6 treatises, right, in the 6 treatises from Dhammasangani to Yamaka, there is only uh, the uh, the conditioning states and the condition states explained in various methods in most of these books, excluding the in the Puggala Panyati, it's almost non-existent. In Kathavattu, up to a certain extent, it's included. But regarding the other books, it's like it's 100% the conditioning states and the condition states which are expounded by the Lord Buddha. But the speciality of the Patthana in the conditional relations is that the relationship between these conditioning states and the condition states are shown using this condition force.
那第三种我们应当了解的是巴遮亚萨蒂，就是原力。那之所以它被称之为是原力呢，它也是在发句论之中所特殊提到的一种解释方法。因为在之前的六部论之中，从第一部论法集论到第六部论双论之中，这些的论著呢，很多他们只是在探讨因以及果，就是作为因的或果的究竟法。那他们甚少呢去探讨到原理。当然了，在其中的有关于人施设论以及论事的内容呢，他们并不是纯粹的只讨论这些作为因跟果的究竟法，而除此以外的 从第1部到第6部的其他的论著呢，他们都在广泛的去探讨作为因以及作为果的究竟法。而对于第7部论的发趣论而言呢，除了去探讨作为因和果的究竟法以外，它也会用原理的方式来去详尽的分析和探究因和果之间的关系。
Can skip these slides. And now I will introduce a little bit on the structure of the Patthana. So in the commentaries, really it's quite explained in a very detailed way, and really the Sayadaw has included like almost all the details into these slides, but I'm not going to go through all of them right in the first day itself. It might not make much sense, and you may not understanding it without learning some examples. So I will not go through the whole structure of the book, right? So first, we need to know about the structure. So yes.
在课件之中呢，我们可以看到课件当中，我们的西雅多所使用的课件，详尽的为大家展示了发趣论它的整体架构。但是呢，在这节课上呢，我们不会对于在课件之中的全部内容进行彻底的讨论，因为呢，如果没有一些具体的例子的学习呢，我们并不能够透彻的理解它，所以并没有太多的意义。那我们只是简单的去学习一下它的框架。
Right. So so in Patthana, if we divide this book into 2 sections, so there are 2. I mean, it can be divided into 2 sections, right? So first one is called this brief chapter. In Pali, it's called Matika Pavara. The second one is called the great chapter. In Pali, it's called the Mahavara. So these are the first level division for in the Patthana. So in the Matika Pavara, there are 2 sections, right? Even though this is like connected arrows, it's like the 2 sections, right? There are 2 sections here. 2 sections here. So first one is called the Paccayuddesa, enumeration of conditions, like it's the Matika. It means Matika means the topics, right? So the topics are presented as a list in the Paccayuddesa, in the enumeration of conditions. And in the Paccayaniddesa, the second one, analytical exposition of conditions. So in this chapter, the paccayas which are given as a list in this enumeration of conditions are expounded in a little bit of detailed manner, like not in very in detail, but it's like in a moderately detailed way. This is expounded here.
对于Patthana 发趣论呢，在第1集的分法之中，它会分为这样的2个部分。第一个部分 Madhika Nikhipa Vara， 即是论母的略分；第2个部分呢是 Mahavara 大分。在这里，对于论母的略分之中，Madhika 的含义呢，即是话题，或者说呢，是一个标题。那它的2个部分呢，即是原总说和原广说。对于原总说而言呢，它即是对于这些的话题的内容、标题的内容进行了展开，或者进行了一个总体的呈现。原广说的内容呢，则是对于诸原的细节的内容进行了适度的阐释。
Yes. Oh, so yeah. So one more thing regarding this Matika Pavara. So I believe most of y'all have learned this Matika Pavara, right? The Paccayuddesa and Paccayaniddesa. So how you may have learned, it's based on the Abhidhamma Sangha, right? So there are many books which are written to Abhidhamma Sangha in various languages. So you may have learned in the 8th chapter of the Abhidhamma Sangha on the Matika Nikepavara, right? In the brief chapter. So you may have learned here. But now what we are really learning in this course is a section, a very small section from the great chapter, right? So once you learn this great chapter, it is expected that you can learn the Patthana in detail.
那另外要提及的是，在这里的 Madhika Nikibhavara 在论母的略分之中，有关于这一部分的内容，可能大部分人都已经学习过。比如说基于概要精解的学习，或者说大家有学习过原总说或原广说的内容，在概要精解的第8章之中，结合阿毗达摩概要精解的内容，大家已经有所了解。但是呢，在这里我们应当明白的是，我们在论母略分当中所学习到的内容相对是较少的。在马哈瓦拉大分之中呢，我们将会对于有关于发趣的更多的细节内容进行详尽的学习。
Right. So regarding the great chapter in the Mahabharata, there are 4 great divisions, like 4 main divisions called positive, negative, negative, and negative positive. So I'm not going to teach about what the meanings of these, right? We will be learning. After some time, we will be learning. So just for the time being, just know that, just having your knowledge that there are 4 great divisions, 4 main divisions in the Mahabharata.
在大分之中有这样的4种分法，那4种的分法呢，就是我们常说的顺逆和逆顺。那有关于这部分的内容呢，因为我们在之后会对于这里面，尤其是顺发的方式进行详细的学习。那呢，大家只是简单的知道有这样的4种分法就可以了。
Right. So the next level, next subdivision for each of these sections are called these 6 Patthana, right? Triplet, couplet, couplet, triplet, triplet, couplet, triplet, triplet, couplet, couplet. So what it really means, like in the Dhammasangani, there is the Dhammas are explained, categorized, all the ultimate realities. They are categorized based on triplets. It's called tika, right? Sets of 3s. Couplets means dukkha, sets of 2s. So there are 22 triplets and 100 couplets, and how it's expounded. So really this, I'll remove these arrows, right? So what in the structure, what we see, what is there is that in the positive, for the positive, you have all these 6 sections. For negative, you have all these 6 sections. Positive, negative, we have all these six sections. And for the negative, all these 6 sections. So they are like here we have the triads, the triplets, and here the couplets. So and here it's a combination of these 2. So like that, I'm not going to go into detail, but for the time being, that just understand we'll be learning some section from the positive triplet.
那么在这里呢，我们可以看到，对于这4种分法之中，我们以第1种的分法顺发趣为例。那对于顺发趣这一个分法里面呢，它将会包含6种的Patthana。那哪6种呢？即是3法、2法、2法、3法、3法、2法、3法、3法、2法、2法这6种的分类方法。首先，这里的所谓的3 triplet。 它的三法的含义呢，是基于在第一部论法集论之中诸法被分类的方式而去进行探讨的。在法集论之中有22种的对于诸法的三分法的方式。那除此之外呢，还会对于诸法以二法的方式而去进行分类，一共呢有100组的二分法。所以呢，在这里的结构之中，我们可以看到，仅仅是在顺发句之中呢，都有基于三法和二法所组合而成的6种的Patthana，6种的发句。那在这一个大分之中的6个章节呢，每一个章节都会拥有着6种的发句，6种的Patthana。那这6种的巴塔纳呢，我们也应当理解，它是基于三法和二法的基础而去进行三法、二法等等的结合。那现在呢，我们只是简单的去了解一下它的框架结构。
Right. So I will erase these lines to yeah. So say for example the triplets. The first one is called the faultless triplet. So depending on the English translation that you'll be looking, there will be slight difference. Sometimes it may call like wholesome triplet, right? Wholesome triplet. And the Pali name, of course, the name of our course is Kusalattika, right? Kusala. Oh, right? So Kusala means wholesome, Tika means a set of 3. So so what it is in the Kusalattika is that we know there are 24 pachas, 24 conditioning forces. So the the relationship between the ultimate realities which are expounded in the Kusalattika uh, is uh, is expounded based on the 24 conditions. That's what we see in the Kusalattika. So it's the same case with all the other triplets, couplets, and all the other combinations which we see here. So we'll be learning on how the dhammas and their relationship in the Kusalattika using the pachas in this section.
那举例而言，我
Sorry,
们看
I'm
到
sorry.
在
I'm sorry, it's not in this section. We'll be learning in the course, in our course, the whole course. We'll be learning about that, not the section.
And you mean in the other class, not in this series
No, I mean
later?
in our full course, we'll be learning about the relationship in the Kusalattika with the pachas in various methods.
那举例而言，在这里在大分当中的第一种的分类，在顺发之中呢，它有着这样的6种的发句，在其中的第一种类型呢，就是三法。在法集论之中所提到的三法的第一个呢，我们叫做善三法，巴利语 Kusalattika。那我们知道，一共呢是有这样的24种元。那再去探讨各种究竟法之中所存在的元之时呢，将会基于善三法之中所提到的各种分法的究竟法，去探讨24元所呈现的关系，并且呢，不仅仅是在以善三法为例的三法论母，也以同样的方式将会在二法论母以及三法、二法、二法三法等等之中，我们都会去分析在这些的分法里面所存在的24元的呈现关系。 在之后的课程当中呢，我们都会给大家进行教导。
Yes. So for the Kusalattika, there are there are 7 chapters, right? For the positive, right? For the positive Kusalattika, there are 7 chapters here. You see those 7 chapters. So the approach we'll be taking and which is taught in Myanmar is that in these 7 in this from these 7 chapters, first we'll be learning this 7th chapter, right? So the reason to do is that because it's to understand the Dhamma itself is very difficult, right? So based on some methods developed by based on some details from the commentary and some sections from the Patthana itself, that the Burmese elders have developed a method where we learn the 7th chapter first, which is quite easy to understand, and then after that, this 6 chapters, right? 6 chapters. There are 6 of them. So these 6 will be learned by combining them, right, together. That's what we will be doing in our course, right? First, we'll be doing the 7th chapter, namely investigation chapter, and the other chapters from dependent to associated chapter will be combined and learned.
那么，当我们所看到，比如说在三法的第一法善三法的时候呢，对于善三法呢，它也会透过这样的7个章节去展开进行解释。在这7个章节之中，我们的学习方式是怎样呢？首先，我们会去学习第7个章节，即是对于这些的法义及诸缘呢进行探究。那我们将会基于注释去探讨细节的问题，尤其是会结合缅甸的长老们所使用的相关的教材来去进行分析，将会非常的直观以及简单。之后呢，我们将会整体的去学习剩下的6个章节，也就是从第1个章节到第6个章节的内容，全部呢都包含在其中。
Okay. So the next thing we need to know is where this Pali is applicable in the Tipitaka, right? You can see my screen, right? Okay. Yeah. So in the Abhidhamma Pitaka, like there are these 7 books, and for Patthana there are 4, okay, 5 volumes in Burmese. So in the first volume, got 2 copies here, right? So this is the first book of the Patthana. So in the Tika Patthana, so we have the paccayuddesa, right? So paccayuddesa means this. Share the other screen too. So paccayuddesa is, yeah, okay. So in the brief chapter, Matika Nikke Pavara, we know that there were 2 chapters, right? 2 sub-chapters, enumeration of conditions and analytical exposition of conditions. So these 2 chapters. So paccayuddesa is the first one, and the second one is the moderate explanation detail on the paccayuddesa. It's called the paccayaniddesa. So we look at this. So this is the paccayuddesa in the Pali, right? And after that, we have the other section called paccayaniddesa, right? So that's where you find all the yes.
接下来我们要知道，我们所要去学习的巴塔纳发区论的内容，在巴利经典的什么位置是能够适用的，是能够被找到的。那在三藏之中，我们可以看到，借由经典的结集呢，尤其是在以缅语所结集的三藏的经典里面，与阿毗达摩发趣论，这个阿毗达摩论藏之中，第七部论发趣论的内容呢，一共是有5本。如果我们打开这5本当中的第一本，我们会首先看到三法的发趣，在三法的发趣之中呢，就会有首先我们看到的paccayuddesa paccayuddesa 即是原总说的内容，还有呢就是 paccayaniddesa 就是原广说的内容。因此呢，我们可以看到，首先呢，它会出现的就是在我们刚刚所提到的第一个部分当中的原广说和原总说和原广说。
Yes. Um, so regarding the great chapter, right? So I told that we'll be learning the Kusalattika, the wholesome triplet. So here, right, we need to know where we find this wholesome triplet, right? Right. So we have the table of contents here. Right? So after the paccayuddesa and the paccayaniddesa, there is another chapter here called chapter called Puccavaru, right? So Pucca in Pali, Pucca in Pali means the questions, right? So all the questions regarding the Patthana is included here. So the questions means that now for all the explanation, for the all the explanations, uh, they, uh, I mean, there is a section which has the questions, and whatever the questions which are applicable for each of the combinations from the Abhidhamma Matika, from the triplets, the duplet, the sorry, couplets, and then for the other combinations. So they all those the possible questions, all the questions which are applicable, they are included in this Pucchavara, in this section, right? So it was not included in the slide, of course, but we'll be learning about this Pucchavara later in our course. So just for the time being, just having keep in your mind that there is this chapter in between the small section between Paccayuddesa and Paccayaniddesa and the rest called the Pucchavara, which includes the questions.
那有关于大分的部分，马哈瓦拉的部分呢，我们将会学习善三法的发趣。在目录当中，我们可以看到，在原总说 paccayuddesa 后面呢是 paccayaniddesa，即是原广说。原广说之后是不差瓦肉，即是问分。在这里，不差的含义呢，在巴利语当中的含义是问题。问题是指的能够对于拥有的解释所产生的问题，所提出的问题。那在这一个章节当中呢，它主要是 但凡是适用于针对像三法论母或二法论母或诸如此类等等的论母的内容能够产生问题的，所有能够提出的问题呢，都会在这个章节当中被提及。我们之后呢也会去学习这部分章节的内容。那大家呢应当暂时的去记住。有这样的一个小的章节，它存在于原广说和原总说和原广说的后面，叫做问分。
So after the Puchavaro, we come to this topic called Kusalattika, right? So that is the positive triplet Kusalattika, right? So according to this structure, based on this structure, positive triplet, and here the first one was the Kusalattika, right? So that's what we see here. Yeah.
那在问分之后呢，我们紧接着向下呢，就会看到，如同我们在前面的框架里面，在课件之上看到的，所出现的呢，就是triplet，就是三法。那在三法之中呢，首先出现的第一个三法的内容呢，就是善三法，所以在这里呢是古萨拉蒂嘎。
Yes. So if you have a hard copy with you, just turn the pages and see where each of these sections are, right? Not right now, maybe after the class. Do that exercise by yourself. And if you don't have the hard copies, if you are using a Tipitaka application or whatever, any other material, just scroll up and down and see where these sections are.
如果大家有像这样的巴利软件的话呢，可以自行的去尝试练习查找，确定这些章节内容在哪里。那如果没有这些的软件呢，大家在课后呢可以自己去找一下相关的软件，然后呢进行下载和学习。
So moving further down, right? So this is the first subchapter. Right. First chapter here, what we saw as dependent, right? The first chapter here. So like that, there are 6 chapters. Still in the first chapter. This is the second chapter. From here, Konasant. And then, so like that, there are 7 chapters. So this is the 5th one. Sixth one. Okay. So finally, this is the chapter that we will be learning. In the beginning, we'll be learning the Panhavaro, this investigation chapter.
好，那比如说对于善三法这一个三法论母的发趣呢，它将拥有着这样的7个章节。第一个章节呢，就是我们刚刚看到的 Patijawara，一直呢到第7个章节，最后一个章节呢就是 Panhavaro，我们呢也叫做问分。
Okay, so in this document, which was used by the Sayadaw, Sayadaw has gone into a lot of details, and based on the commentaries and the sub-commentaries, the number of Patthanas and all the details are given here. But later we'll be learning. We are not going to learn anything about it right now. And yeah, so many details from the commentaries and of course from the Burmese, the books written by Burmese shadows. And some more details regarding the structure of the Patthana. Right. So, but we are not going to learn anything about them now, and we'll move straight away to another section. Yes.
在这个课件之中呢，我们可以看到，那乌冈萨西亚多，我们缅甸的长老呢，基于译注附注的内容，包括呢，结合缅甸的教材的内容，给予了更多细节的解释。比如说呢，有关于在分级之中所呈现出来的三法、二法、二法、三法、三法、二法、三法、三法、二法、二法的内容，每一个部分有多少个组合，那也都给予了详尽的解释，进行了详细的介绍。有关于这部分的内容呢，我们就不过多的去解释，之后会给大家讲解。现在呢，我们直接往下看，到下一个标题的内容。
Right. Okay. So here in the enumeration of conditions in the paccayuddesa, there are 24 paccayas. I believe that most of y'all are familiar with this from the knowledge from the Abhidhamma Sangha or any other course, right? Starting from Hetu Paccayo to Avigata Paccayo, there are 24 paccayas, right? So that's what we see here. That's what we see here in the Pali, right? In this side, starting from Hetu to Avigata Paccayo.
那在首先的原总说之中呢，我们可以看到原总说一共提到了有这样的24种元。有关于这24种元的内容，想必大家已经非常熟悉。比如说，大家通过概要经解的学习，或从其他的课程当中呢，已经学习过有这样的24种元。从第一个黑度巴这 U 因缘，一直到最后一个阿维嘎达巴这 U，也是不离其元，有这样的24种元。
Right. So this is the book which I compiled based on the Burmese shadows, learnings, and all the books, and it is translated into English here. So this book is going to be our the main what do you call the main note, the main study material. So yes, so what we have to know here is that we need to have an understanding on the uh, on the details, the foundation on the Patthana, right? Based on the Paccaya, Paccayuppanna, and Paccanika. It's called non-conditioned state. So we'll be learning all about these things, right? So it won't be much of a problem. As I mentioned earlier, some historical details regarding this method will be presented by Dr. B. And yeah, yes.
这里呢，我们看到的这一本书册的一个特定的章节呢，它是来自于我们的这位老师他所翻译编辑出来的有关于学习发绪论的书。那这一本书呢，有关于这一个章节的内容已经翻译成了英文， 它也会作为我们这一次学习的主要材料。那在这里，我们在一开始学习的时候呢，应当最好要有一定的24元学习的基础。比如说，我们应当了知什么是元，什么是元法、原生法、非元法等等的相关内容。
So we'll be learning, if you mark it here, we'll be learning the first Kusalattika, and this investigation chapter. And in this investigation chapter, right? So in the investigation chapter, there is another level, the other level, which we need to know, right? So in the investigation chapter, there are 4 sub-chapters, right? There are 4 of them. Right? So this is how the chapter that we are going to learn is connected here. Right? There are 4 chapters, namely positive method, Paccaya-anuloma, negative method, Paccaya-paccaniya, positive negative method, Paccaya-anuloma paccaniya, and negative positive method, Paccaniya-anuloma, like that. Right? So we'll be learning from the 7th chapter, we'll be learning these four sub-chapters.
那我们呢，将会来去学习在三法之中的第一个善三法Kusalattika。那当我们学习善三法的时候，我们将会从有关于它的展开的7个章节当中的第7个章节Mahāvāra问分的内容开始学习。对于问分本身呢，它还有另外的一层分级。那在这一层的分级之中呢，包含了这样的4个子目录、子章节。那4个内容呢，它们就是paccayuddhamma顺缘法、paccayaniddesa逆缘法、paccayuddhamma顺逆缘法，还有呢paccayaniddesa逆顺缘法这4个内容。我们呢将会从第7节开始，首先为大家进行讲解。
Right. Yes. Can you see it? Okay. Yeah. So, okay. So this is the slide. I mean, this is what I presented in the board, in the whiteboard. So in the investigation chapter, there are 4 sub-chapters, and we'll be learning the first one, right? The first chapter called positive method, Paccaya-anuloma. And in the Paccaya-anuloma, there are two sections, right? 2 further subchapters. called, the first one is called Vibhangavara, classification chapter. And the second one is called enumeration, called Sankhyavara, right? So in that, there are, for the Sankhyavara, there are two sub-chapters. Single enumeration chapter, Pali it's called Suddha Sankhyavara, and the other chapter is called mixed enumeration chapter, Missaka Sankhyavara. We need to know this detail a little bit to understand, because we will be learning in combination, right? So when we are learning, we'll be learning the, say for example, if you are learning the Hetu Paccaya, we'll be learning some details from the Paccayuddesa and the Niddesa in the brief, from the brief introduction, and then we'll connect it to the Paccayanuloma classification here, and also we'll be connecting this single enumeration chapter 2, right? So we need to know a little bit on the structure. That's why we are going through this structure about it, about regarding the structure, because we need to have an understanding on what we are learning really, right? How it's connected to the Pali.
在这里，大家看到的课件的内容呢，就是来自于老师所编写的这本书的内容。那正如我们刚刚所提到的，对于问分里面的内容呢，它还包含有4个字的章节。第一个章节呢，就是顺缘法 （Paccaya-niddesa）。在顺缘法之中呢，它又会分为2个层级。哪2个次级的章节呢？就是Vibhangavara分别品，还有呢 Sankhyavara 数量品。那有关于数量品这一个部分呢，这个章节呢又会进一步的分为再次的2个章节，就是纯数量品和混合数量品。我们在学习的时候，假如说我们从黑度巴加亚因缘开始学起，我们将会先结合缘总说、缘广说来去学习和了解因缘的内容。那之后呢，我们将会来到有关于善三法当中的有关因缘的部分呢，从顺缘法和顺缘法之后所包含的这2个分别品和数量品的内容呢，来去进行学习。那这个呢，是我们在开展学习时候的学习的顺序。大家在了解在查找巴利经文的时候呢，也要掌握我们的经文所在的位置的顺序。
Okay, so to share a couple of details regarding the classes, when we are doing the classes, y'all can ask questions. There won't be any, it's like I will not have the Q&A session at the end of the class. So I would rather like y'all to have to engage with the class, and y'all can raise the hand and ask questions, maybe from the chat, or maybe it's better if you can switch on your mic and ask the questions. So yes, so you have that opportunity, and I have that invitation. And regarding the answers, sometimes I will say, directly say, explain the answer, give the answer. Sometimes I may say, no, it's premature to do it, because there are a lot of concepts, lot of subtopics, things attached to a particular answer in Patthana. It's like that. It's like a web, everything is connected in various methods. So depending on the situation, depending on the timing, and I might not answer the question. I will say, maybe we'll learn it later, right? So that's how things. I'd like to explain how to proceed in the classes.
那再者的话呢，我们将会跟大家分享一下有关于上课知识的一些细节问题。那因为呢，我们在每一节课的结束的时候不会给大家额外的 Q&A 问答的时间，所以在课程的期间，任何时候大家呢都可以随时的去发问、举手提问。那大家呢将有这样的机会来去在聊天室之中呢 发出问题，或者说举手提问。老师呢也给大家发出这样的邀请，在回答问题的时候呢，如果知道答案，老师会直接给大家给出答案的解释。那有些时候呢，我可能说，现在不得不这样做是很好的。那因为会有很多的概念，就是说呢，有些时候当答案不确定的时候呢，老师呢也会告诉大家，取决于所探讨的这个问题的主题和时间，也可能会跟大家说，这样的问题在之后呢再去对大家进行解答。那老师是希望以这样的方式来去开展课程。
Okay. So I have still not explained anything what it means classification. I have not explained anything regarding what is a single enumeration, not anything about the mixed enumeration. So we'll be learning them in our subsequent classes.
那现在呢，老师还没有解释分类这里的分类有关于分别品呢、数量品呢、纯数量品、混合数量品的内容是什么。那有关于这些的内容呢，将会在后续的课程当中跟大家去进行逐一的解释。
Right. So now we'll have a quick recap on the wholesome triplet, right? Kusalattika. So why I use the word recap is because some of you all may have learned the Dhammasangani, at least some parts of the Dhammasangani, some sections. So so if you have learned it, then the first tika, the triplet, is called the wholesome triplet. So so the states which are expounded in the Kusalattika will quickly go through, right? So for wholesome states, in Pali we call Kusaladhamma. So those are the 21 wholesome consciousness and 38 mental factors. And for the unwholesome states, it's 12 unwholesome consciousness and 27 mental factors. And for the intermediate states, Pali is called Abhidhamma, the 36 resultant consciousness, Vipaka Chitta, 20 functional consciousness, Kriya Chitta, and 38 mental factors, and the 28 matter, the Rupa, and Nibbana. So those are the Dhammas which comes in the wholesome triplets, right? So we will be learning the wholesome triplet and the relationship between the Dhammas in the wholesome triplet based on the Paccayas, the relationships.
那现在的话呢，老师呢来帮助大家做一个快速的回顾，什么是善三法？那这部分的内容呢是在七部论的第一部论法集论之中所解释的。那有一些的学生呢已经学习过了法集论的内容，学习了三法论母的相关内容。那现在呢，我们来快速的回顾一下，来了解一下需要了知的善三法中的各种究竟法的内容。那善三法它们被分成的三类呢，叫做古斯拉达玛善法、古斯拉达玛不善法，还有呢阿表盖达达玛无记法。善法的内容呢，包括21种善心及其相应心所38。不善法的内容包括12种不善心及其相应心所法27，无记法的内容包括36种的果报心、20种的唯作心及它们的相应心所法38种，还有呢28种的色法以及涅盘。那我们呢，将在探讨善三法发趣的时候呢，结合这样的这个善三法论母三法论母之中善三法的内容呢，去进行探究它们之间的语言的关系。
Right. So now we are moving into something called 8 main conditions and 9 condition groups. Now we know there are 24 conditions, right? The conditioning forces, especially from Hetu to Abhigata. but 8 of them are considered as taken as the main conditions, right? 8 of them, and they are grouped in a particular way, right? So we may not learn why these are there and all these, I mean the reasons, and we will not be learning about them, but this is the basis that we'll be learning the Panjavara, right? So there are 9 conditions here: Arambana, Sahajata, Upanissaya, Purejata, Pachajata, Kamma, Ahara, Indriya. And there are 9 groups, right? So object, Arambana is included in the object group. Sahajata is included in the Sahajata group. Upanissaya, Upanissaya is included in strong dependence. Oh, I think there's a small error here. Okay, please explain. I will check the book.
现在我们来看一下8个主要的元和由此而展开的9个元组。那虽然我们在学习发区论的时候了解一共有24个元啊，但是呢，在这24元之中，有8个元，它们被视为是最为主要的元。那并且呢，基于这8个主要的元展开来有9个元组，我们将不会去探讨为什么最为主要的是这8个元，以及呢有这样的9种元组。但是呢，我们应当去牢记有这些的元和元组的分类方法，这些也是我们在之后学习问分的基础。那哪8种元呢？即是阿拉玛那巴哲亚所缘元、萨哈扎达具声、乌巴尼塞亚亲依止、乌雷扎达前声、巴扎扎达后声、伽玛叶、阿哈拉什还有尼利亚根源。那由此而展开的元组呢，有这样的9种：所缘组、具声组、无间组、自然亲依止组、一处前声组、后生组、一刹那业组、测试组，还有生命根组。
Yeah. Yes. What the error is that I mean it's like just remember them as 2 separate lists. Not that they are related, but here
And
we
I think no
cannot.
problem. Here, the Anandala and Bhagavad the condition groups, they are revived from the Upanisaya Paccaya. Because there's a typical Upanisaya Paccaya, the Upanisaya Kamma Paccaya. It belongs to the Anandala.
This belongs here.
Also belong to Anandala.
Yes, it does, but how we learn is that we'll be taking this anantara, and we'll be including all the 5, 6 pachas related to anantara here. So just remember them as lists, right? We'll be going into the detail, no problem. 2 lists. Yes, I know what you're telling is correct, right?
Yes, Vande, please continue.
Yes, so just remember these as 2 lists, right? So from Aramana to, there are 9 groups really. There are 9 groups and 8 main conditions where these groups are derived from. We can say it like this. Makes sense, right? So Upanissaya, it's divided into 2 like that. Anantara and then Upanissaya like that.
好，那么我们呢，应当像这样子记住有8个主要的元，还有由此而展开的9个元组。好，那这里的话呢，刚刚我们简单的探讨了一下，那在元组当中的无间组和自然亲依止组呢，它们应当是从第3种主要的元亲依止元所展开而成为无间组和自然亲依止组。
Right. Right. So in addition to these 9 groups, there are other 3 pachas, right? Termed as mixed condition groups called Missaka Pachagana. We'll be learning about it later. So altogether, uh, these there are 56 conditions, right? 56 conditions included in these, under these, it's not really 12, in this, in the classification uh, of the condition groups. So now how it becomes 56, like we know about like 20, it's only about 24 paccayas we know, and how it becomes 56 will be learned later on, right? Because so each of some of the paccayas from the 24, they have like, there are subdivisions. So some are there in the Pali, we can see that division, and some, to explain things further, it's included in the commentaries and sub-commentaries, and some of the classifications are done by Burmese shadows for, to make the, to easily understand the Dhamma, the paccayas.
除了在这里的9个主要元组之外呢，还有3个元组，它们呢也叫做混合元组。那之后呢，我们将会去学习这些混合元组的内容。那在这12个元组之下，这些元组的分类之下呢，一共呈现出了56种的元。那我们之前呢说过，那在元总说之中，一共出现了24种的元。然而呢，基于译注附注的解释，以及呢缅甸长老们他们所整理出来的更为方便的理解的解释和解读方法，我们呢是可以了解到这56种元，它是由24种的元进一步细分出来而呈现为56种。
Right. Right. So the list of these 56 conditions are given, right? For say for Aramana group, object group, there are 8 conditions. There are sub conditions here, right? Aramana, Aramanadhipati, I will use the English version, object, object predominance, base object presencence, dependence, right? Object strong dependence, object presencence. So like that, there is a list given, right? We need not really learn anything about the list at the moment. Just for the time being, have the understanding in Aramana, the object group, there are 8 conditions.
对于这里的全部的56种元，我们呢将会在教材的后面基于这12种的元组的分类方式，将这56种的元呢全部逐一的呈现出来。比如说在所缘元组之中呢，我们可以看到它包含有8种的元。那现在呢，我们先不会详细的去探究每一种的元，之后我们再学。但是呢，我们要像这样子理解到。每一种元组之中，它会有很多的元，像所谓元组之中有8个元。
Yes, so
But
there are
I,
8 conditions.
but I think
Sorry.
the time is up.
Oh, really? Is it? We're supposed to do until 7:30, right? Not 7. I mean in 3. Let's check the time.
Oh, sorry, Bandy. Yeah, we still have
We have
45.
like 45 minutes, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, Bandy.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So there are 8 conditions here. And then for the Sahajatagana, for the connaissance condition group, there are 15, right? So it's further divided into 3 subjects, subsections, subgroups called connaissance small subgroup, connaissance connaissance medium subgroup, connaissance large subgroups. I will later explain in our classes that why it's called small, medium, and large. So in the connaissance small subgroup, there are 15 paccayas here, right? 50, I'm sorry, not 15, 7 conditions here. In connaissance medium, there are 4 conditions, and here there are, in the large group, there are 4 conditions here.
接下来的是俱生元组，在俱生元组之中，一共有15个元。 那对于这15个元呢，在具声元组之中，它们又会被归纳为3种的具声元组，被称之为小具声组、中具声组和大具声组。那小具声组之中呢，一共出现了7个元，中具声组和大具声组之中分别出现了4个元。
For the Anantara Upanishad group, there are 7 conditions, right? Anantara, Samanantara, like that, there are 7. And for the Paccaya Upanishad, there are 2 conditions. For the Vattupurejata base renaissance group, there are 6 conditions.
接下来第3个元组无间氢移质组当中，一共出现了7个元，自然氢移组之中出现了2个元，一处显生组之中出现了6个元。
Right. And for the Paccayajata post sense group, 4 conditions. For the Nanakanika Kamagana asynchronous Kama group, 1 condition. And Rupa Haragana, 3 conditions. Rupa Jivitindriya, 3 conditions.
那之后呢，在后生组之中有4个元，一刹那业组之中有1个元，色识组有3个元，色命根组则是有3个元。
And in the mixed condition groups, there are 3 types, and altogether there are 7. There are 3 types here. Altogether there are 7 pachas here.
最后还有3个混合元组，那这3种的混合元组加在一块儿，一共又出现了7个元。
Okay, so now there is a list of 56 pachas here. And we need to know, I mean, if you are learning in this course, I expect you to memorize all these 56 pachas, right? 56 pachas. Even though you're not aware of anything about this name, I expect you to memorize these 56 conditions which belong to each of these 9 condition groups. That knowledge is going to be very important, right? So you can take maybe 1 group at a day, one day you memorize 1, and then you have to have them in your memory. It's very important, right? So in the latter part of your book, like when you're proceeding with this course, you will understand why I'm asking you to do these things. So I have taught this course in Sinhalese twice for monks. So I always ask them to memorize. Some of them memorize it, take my advice and do it, and some of them do not. So what happened is that when the course is going on, then understanding some of the things, when we show the relationships and the connections, then the understanding is going to be difficult. So I know this from experience, and personally I have gone through the same thing, right? In Myanmar, the students, like in the traditional way, they are supposed to memorize these groups and some other basic details regarding the pachas, some basic states regarding the pachas. So even when I was studying in Myanmar, first I did not memorize all these things, and later when I was proceeding with my learning, then I also got myself stuck, so then I started to memorize all these things, and then my study became easier. So in the same case with anybody, right? No, now we are living in the age of artificial intelligence, right? The artificial intelligence will do all the learning, the teaching, and summarizing things and all. Yes, it's there, but I assure you, it's not going to work. Things like that, it's not going to work in if you are if you are learning when we are learning this Kusalattika Paṭṭhāna. It's very important to do this.
老师呢对大家提出了要求，如果大家在学习这个课的过程之中呢，需要将在此的全部的56种元呢都进行学习和掌握，并且呢也要去牢固的记忆这56种的元，它们分别从属于哪一个元组，这一点呢非常的重要。那大家呢可以在之后呢，尝试在每一天去记忆一个元组当中的元的内容。如果大家继续的去深入这门课程的时候呢，将会理解和明白为什么老师要求大家去这样的去做。因为呢，在之后学习的过程当中，任何元的呈现和元与元之间的关系，我们在学习的时候呢，都会基于在此我们所要去学我们在此我们所看到的这些元和元组的分类方式。那这个过程呢是相当困难的。对于老师本人而言呢，他也经历了相同的困境。当他在缅甸学习的时候呢，那些缅甸的学生呢，他们都喜欢用比较传统的方式来去进行这些元和元组的记忆，他们呢都记得比较好。但是呢，对于老师而言呢，他陷入了困境，没有很好的记住。后来的话呢，慢慢的开始呢，也能够记住这些所有的元和元组的分类方式。那虽然像现在的话呢，我们已经来到了 AI 的时代，人工智能可以帮助我们很好的去进行工作和运算，但是呢，在这里呢，老师呢他也强调，虽然 AI 呢很好用，但是它不可能也没有办法代替我们去完成对于这些语言的很好的学习，所以呢，需要我们去自己去进行记忆。
And the other thing regarding the memorizing of Dhamma is that, yes, it's true that in our worldly education that uh, the requirement for to memorize things, it's becoming the need, the importance is becoming less and less with the improvement of the technology. But regarding the Dhamma, what we have to know is from directly we see in the Pali from the Buddha's word itself, right? First you listen to the Dhamma, then you memorize it, and then you apply it. That's how it works in the practice of Dhamma. So, so if you are supposed to memorize certain things in Dhamma, then do not hesitate, because you are living. If you are doing it, then you will be following the advice of the Lord Buddha himself. Right? It's not that we are not doing something, anything which is not belong to the sasana.
那再有呢，有关于这个法的学习呢，我们也应当明了，我们在学法的过程当中呢，往往呢是从巴利语开始学习，对巴利语的内容呢尝试去进行记忆，对于已经学习到的法的内容呢，去进行对于学习到的法的内容呢去进行记忆，然后呢进行应用。那这样呢是我们正确的学法的方式。如果我们能够这样的去学法，我们在进行思维理解、进行实践的过程当中呢，不会有犹豫，不会有怀疑。那只有以这样的方式呢，我们才能够真正意义上的是在遵从佛陀的教导去进行学法。
Okay, so regarding these groups, uh, regarding these groups, first we have we know that there are 9 groups, 9 condition groups, and from these 9 it starts from Aramana, object group. But what we are going to do is that we are going to learn from the Sahajata group, from this one, right? Corners and groups. It's easy to understand the Sahajata group, and nowadays mostly the Burmese shadows, they started from learning from the Sahajata. And so in the Sahajata, we know in the Sahajata there are 3 subgroups, right? Corners and small subgroup, which consist of 7 pacha, and consonants medium, which has 7, consonants large has 4, right? So we'll be learning these 15 conditions, right? 15 conditions first. So from them, first we will be starting the consonant small subgroup, right? This one, the small subgroup, and from that we'll be learning the first paccaya, the hetu.
关于这些元组，我们可以看到一共有9种类型的元组。在这9种的类型的元组之中，虽然最开始是从锁元组阿拉玛纳开始，但是呢，我们则是并不按照这样的顺序开始学习元组。我们将首先从具声元组开始学起。对于大部分的缅甸的长老呢，他们在进行教导的时候，也都是从具声元组开始进行教学。那对于具声元组呢，它一共分为3类，哪3类呢？即是大具声、中具声和小具声。那在此呢，小具声组之中一共有7种元，中具声和大具声元组呢，一共分别则是有4种元。那小具声元组之中的7个元里面，首先出现的呢是黑都巴扎亚，是音元。那我们呢将会首先从音元开始学起。
So in the paccayuddesa, right? As I explained, as I mentioned you earlier, first we'll be learning from the Paccaya-niddesa, paccayuddesa, just the topic, and the paccayaniddesa. These two we'll be learning in very brief, right? I assume that you'll have learned it in Abhidhamma Sangha, and then we move into the Mahavara, right? So that's the approach that we'll be taking. And in paccayuddesa, we find here hetu paccayo, right? So hetu paccayo is the root condition. And then we'll be learning the paccayaniddesa. And then we move into the sections which are in the investigation chapter, right? In the Panyavara. Yes. Yes, also.
在总说呢，在原总说之中呢，我们在之前的课上呢已经提及过。我们呢按照这样的顺序从原总说开始去学习，然后呢再去学习原广说。那原广说学习之后呢，再去看问分。那有关于原总说和原广说的内容呢，借由之前大家学习过阿比达摩概要精解的内容呢，大家都已经接触过，在原广说和原总说之中对于诸言的解释。那比如说，我们在此呢来看一下，在原总说之中，首先提及的第一个元就是因缘。那我们学习的顺序呢，将会首先从paccayuddesa，即是原总说之中第一个出现的因缘开始，然后再去看在原广说之中的hetu paccayuddesa，就是有关于因缘的解释，再来到问分之中有关于因缘的内容呢，进一步的去进行探讨。那就这样的方式呢，我们可以来去了解什么是因缘。
Right. Now we'll move into Shadow's notes to understand it, right? So Shadow has listed down the 24 conditions starting from hetu paccayo to Avigata Paccaya. It's again, we have this note here, Paccaya, paccayuppanna, and paccayasatti, the conditioning state, condition state, and the conditioning force. Yes.
首先呢，在我们来看一下，在课件以及我们的材料之中所提到的24元里面有关于因缘的内容。那首先24元的内容呢是从因缘到不离去缘。那接着呢，我们可以看到在屏幕之上有解释到构成缘的3个最基础的条件：paccaya-paccayuppannadhamma、paccaya-saddhi，就是缘法、缘所生法还有缘力。
Right. So regarding the paccaya, the conditioning states, so there are three functions, right? Three ways these conditioning states are causing the condition states to support. One is by producing them, and secondly by supporting them, and thirdly by maintaining them, right? So by producing means that it becomes the direct cause. The conditioning state become a direct cause through a conditioning force for the dhammas, for the phenomena to arise. Supporting means that already that the dhammas are there, and the dhammas have arisen, and it supports the conditioning force, the conditioning state through the conditioning force, it supports. Third one is called the maintenance, by maintaining them. So we will be learning about this in a little bit of detail in the respective paccayas, right? So just for the time being, remember that there are three cases, three situations like this.
首先有关于缘法呢，当缘法存在的时候，它将会对其他法，尤其是缘所生法，具有这3种的作用的表现。那哪3种的作用表现呢？第一种是令生，第2种是支持，第3种是维持。在这里，什么是令生呢？也就是缘法呢，它可以作为令得其他法升起的主要力量。那支持的作用呢，则是能够很好的去调节调控缘所生法。那维持呢，则是能够很好的去维护缘所生法。我们在了解缘法的时候呢，应当了解，也应当知道他们会拥有这样的3种情况，起到这样的3种作用。
Yes. So these conditioning states, there are 5 types of dhammas, which belongs to the conditioning state, right? So it's in brief, we can say it's the 4 ultimate realities, and one called concept in Panyati, right? So Pali, the 4 ultimate realities are called the Paramatadhamma, and one concept is called the Panyati. Yeah. So the 4 ultimate realities we already know: the consciousness, the mental factors, the matter, and Nibbana, plus the Panyati, right? It's the so altogether there are 5 types of conditioning states. It's really, okay, just go ahead.
那在此呢，作为缘法组成缘法的内容呢，如果我们进行整体的分类，它分为这样的5种类型。那5种的类型呢，就是4种的究竟法，还有一个概念法。什么是4种的究竟法呢？在我们学习阿毗达摩的时候呢，都了解过，它们就是心法、心所法、此法和涅槃。那还有一种呢是般尼亚地，就是概念法。加起来这样的5种呢，它们能够起到缘法的作用。
So this is the Paccaya. And the Paccayuppanna, it's called the conditioning state or effect. And this word, right, in Pali, so Paccaya and Uppanna, there are 2 words here, right? Paccaya and uppanna. So these two words are combined. So that's how this word is derived as paccayuppanna. So paccaya means the cause, right? Uppanna means arise. So whatever the dhamma, whatever the phenomena which is arisen because of a cause, a particular cause is called as paccayuppanna, conditioning state or effect.
构成圆的第二个主要内容呢是 paccayuppannadhamma，就是缘所生法，也是我们通常所讲的因果的果。在这里，paccayuppanna这个巴利词呢，它是由两个部分合成。第一个部分是 paccaya，第二个部分呢是 uppanna。paccaya 的意思呢是因，或者呢是真正的原因。uppanna 的意思呢则是升起，加在一起paccaya paccayuppannadhamma，它的含义呢就是缘所生法，其实呢由因而生起。这里呢是指依赖众缘而生起的一切法。
Right. So we know this paccayuppanna, they are conditioning by conditioned state. So this is the effect, and because of this cause, right? Cause and effect. Yes. But here, regarding the conditioning states, the phenomena they comprise of only three components, three types of paramata dhammas. It is chitta, chetasika, rupa, the consciousness, mental factor, and matter. In the conditioning states, we had nibbana too, right? But we know the nibbana is not a conditioned state. The reason conditioned state means that something which is arising, right? Here in this definition, we learned as something which arise because of a cause. For the nibbana, there is no cause to arise, right? Say if you have some kind of consciousness, if you have some kind of, if the consciousness, the mental factors, the matter, they arise, they do arise. But in the case of nibbana, it's not something arising, right? So that's why it is not included in the conditioned states, but included in the conditioning states.
接下来我们看一下缘所生法。那这里的果，缘所生法，它的内容呢，只包含有三种的究竟法。哪三种的究竟法呢？Jita 心法，Jita tika 心所法，Rupa 色法。那在这里呢，我们看到缘法的内容呢，包含有五种：心法、心所法、色法、涅槃以及概念。而缘所生法呢，它则只包含了这三种的究竟法。为什么呢？我们来看一下缘所生法它的定义，它是由因而生起的。那在这里呢？往往呢，这里的缘所生法的内容，它是借由因而升起或已经升起的；而对于概念也好或涅槃也好，它们呢是并非会由因而升起的。比如说，我们再去讲明法、心法、心所法的时候，他们是会因为某些因而升起的，但是呢，涅槃呢但是呢它却是无生的。因此呢，像涅槃它可以作为缘法，但是呢它不会成为缘所生法。
Right. So regarding this phenomena, we need to know a few things here, right? So here in the Matika Nikepavara, in the brief chapter, we have conditioning state, conditioning states and conditioned states, and the conditioning force. There are three sets which comes here. So in the brief chapter, what we have to know here is that we had in the here, the paññati, the concept, it becomes a conditioning state, right? But it does not come as a conditioned state, right? The concepts, the paññati, they do not arise, right? So that's something which is based on the perception and many other factors, right? Perception plus even the ultimate realities become the basis for the perception. But still, it's not a conditioned state because it does not arise. So, but because it's a conditioning state, it appears in the Matika Nikepavara, right? Because it becomes a reason. But in the Kusalattika, right? In the Kusalattika, the ultimate realities that we learn here, right? Were all of them were phenomena, right? I'm sorry, yeah. All the dhammas we learn here in the Kusalattika, they are phenomena which they arise. The kusala, akusala, and abhyakata, right? The wholesome states, the unwholesome states, and the indeterminate states. So all these things were phenomena. In the Kusalattika, there is no concepts. The paññati is not there, right? It's not available. So because of that, the concepts does not come as conditioning states in the Kusalattika. That we need to know, right? But in the brief chapter, they do appear, right? For some paccayas, for some of the paccayas, the concepts become a conditioning states, but for the same paccaya in the Kusalattika, it does not become the conditioning states. The reason is that whatever the dhammas, whatever the phenomena which is discussed in these triplets and all these sections are ultimate realities. The concepts does not fall into the ultimate reality. That's why.
那在这里的话呢，我们刚刚所提到的，那在原法和原所法之中，有关于原法出现了5种的内容，就是4种的究竟法，还有概念；而原所生法呢，则只有心法、心所法，还有色法。那原所生法的内容呢，它并不会出现涅槃，那同时呢，它也不会出现概念。那原因的话呢，也是如此，因为对于概念而言呢，它是作为一种陈述的表达。它也不会如同民法那样它是会升起的。但是呢，概念呢它有些时候是可以作为原法的。然而，我们再去看到大分部分的内容的时候呢，那接下来会涉及到像三法的内容，比如说在顺发趣的6种发趣里面的第1种，在三法的时候，我们会提到乌萨拉底嘎，就是善三法。我们将会基于善三法论母当中所提到的究竟法的内容去进行探究。然而呢，如果我们看到库萨拉底嘎善三法这一个三法论母当中所提到的究竟法的内容，呢，不管是在善法还是不善法还是无记法之中呢，它都不会提到有概念。因此呢，如果我们再去学习善三法的发趣，在大分之中的善三法的发趣的内容之时，包括在问分之中的内容的时候呢，我们会看到概念呢，它并不会成为善三法中的原法，但是呢，在像这个论母的略分之中呢，它有可能出现。然而呢，当我们来到了大分之中的时候呢，对于善三法里面所拥有的究竟法去探讨它们的原法原所生法的时候呢，概念是不会存在、不会出现的。
Okay. Now we move into the next one, which is the Paccaya Sati, the conditioning force, right? So Paccaya means conditioning force, and sati in Pali is called the force, right? I'm sorry, paccaya means the conditioning function, and the sati means the force. Sati means the power or the ability, right? So in these 24 conditions, it's the paccaya sati. It's expounded by Lord Buddha. So, so what is explained really is that it's the relationship between the conditioning states and the conditioned states by the use of the paccaya sati. Right? See if I put it in the board. I have the conditioning state here. The conditioning force here, like that. So this is a relationship between the conditioning state and the conditioned state, right? So in the conditioning states, right, the conditioning state or states, there will be a set of ultimate realities. Conditioned state also, there will be a set of ultimate realities. The condition force, it's we can say that is another level of ultimate realities, but ultimate reality, but that itself is the conditioning force. That's how we need to understand the relationships. So conditioning, we'll be learning about these there are 24 of them, the conditioning forces.
好，那么构成圆的第三个内容呢，就是原力巴扎亚萨蒂。这里的巴扎亚萨蒂呢，这里也是由两个部分构成。第一个呢是巴扎亚，巴扎亚呢它表达的是圆的作用，萨蒂呢则表达的是这样的一种作用力，这样的一种能力，这样的一种力量。它主要用来诠释作为圆法的内容，它是如何对于圆所生法产生圆的作用。那如图中所示，我们可以看到，作为 conditioning state 就是圆法的内容呢，它可以是各种类型的究竟法。那 conditioned state 就是原所生法的内容呢，它也有可能是各种类型的究竟法，而原力呢，则是去表达原法是如何对于原所生法的内容原所生法的内容产生原的作用。那有关于原的作用呢，也就是我们在此所探讨的24种的原。
Yes. Now what we need to really do is to move into the Pali and explain all the things, but we don't have much time, so it's better that I'll share you a couple of messages. Number one thing is that in the Google form that I saw that I asked the students to fill some Google form when they're registering for this course. So so some of y'all I understand that have not learned the 8th chapter of the Abhidhamma Sangha in Abhidhamma Sangha. So so if you have if you have in whatever the language you have resources, follow them and learn that chapter, right? So simultaneously together with the class, do your best to learn that, because if you don't learn it, then it's going to be difficult to in this course, right? That after a few classes you will decide to quit. So so you need to take some effort and learn it. Of course, we'll be teaching some of them details in the class, but still that's the basis, right, which is taught in the Abhidhamma Sangha. So have some effort to learn it, to if you are not done that, to keep up with it.
之后呢，包括之前呢，已经为大家分享了谷歌的表单，让大家去填写一些的，这个个人资料的陈述。在表格之中呢，有一些人已经填了表。从表单上呢，我们可以看到，有些人他没有学习过，有关于概要精解之中第8章里面所探讨的，发取法的相关内容。那因此呢，如果没有学习过这部分的内容呢，可以去寻找一些有关于元的学习的相关内容，发起法的相关内容。找到资源之后呢，跟随着学习，尽量的把在概要精解之中的第8章的有关于发起论的内容呢，努力的去学好。如果说对于这部分的内容没有学习、没有掌握，那在学习我们这一个系列课程的过程之中呢，将会非常的困难，可能上了几节课之后呢，就放弃了。所以大家需要去付出相当的努力来去跟上，来去把第8章的概要精解第8章的内容呢去补上，去学好。那这样的话呢，才能够跟上我们的这个课程内容。
And one more thing that I forgot to explain here is that the conditioning states, I told that it's a set of ultimate realities, some phenomena, and also some panyati, the concepts. And the conditioning state, again, it's a set of phenomena which arise. And the conditioning force, it's the paccaya, I mean, it's the hetu, paccaya, aramana, paccaya, like that. So it's relatively easy to understand the conditioning states and the conditioned states, because we have already learned that these states in Abhidhamma. But the conditioning force, it's very difficult to understand, right? It's the most difficult among these three. It's the most difficult thing to understand. So after learning the conditioning states, the conditioned states, and by reading the explanations and from the classes, and also whatever the material, available material, the difficult part is to understand the conditioning force, right? You have to think about it and reflect and understand about it, right? It's not easy to do it.
好，那还有一件事情呢，需要跟大家解释，那就是有关于在此的原法或者是原所生法的内容呢，它们无非是我们之前所学习过的，包括在阿毗达摩概要经典当中所学习过的有关于各种类型的究竟法，甚至包含概念的相关内容。那它们呢，是容易去理解的。那尤其是大家在学习过各种类型的究竟法和概念的定义之后，将能够去掌握。但是呢，在原法和原所生法之间所呈现出来的原理呢，却是不容易理解的。那因此呢，在学习过原理，也就是24元之后呢，不管是从我们的课上，或者说是从书本上，那我们呢，都需要去明白，困难的部分是对于它的理解。要在理解之后呢，多去思考，多去反思，那应当明白它是不容易掌握的。
Okay, so now we'll end the class this evening and share the merits, right? So we'll share the merits which we accumulated during the last 2 hours by learning, teaching, reflecting, and having the noble attitude on the Dhamma. So we'll share these merits with the beings in this world and the other worlds, and may all the beings be well, happy and healthy, and may it be a supportive factor for them to attain Nibbana, and also may these activities, the karma, be a supportive factor for all of us to attain Nibbana. So with this wish, we will share the merits. So from the next week, I think we'll compile this in Chinese too, right? So the Chinese Dhamma friends also can.
Yes, Bande, I will forward to you.
Oh, you already have it, right?
Already have.
Oh, with the English one?
With I think with Chinese, with Bali and Chinese.
Okay, just forward it to me.
Okay, Bande. Now or later?
I will do it later. Yeah, maybe next class. Yeah.
Mm.
So we recite. Yang pattang kusalang tassa anubhavena panino sabbe saddhamma rajassa nyatva dhammang sukhavahang papunantu visuddhaya sukaya patipattiya asoka manupayasang nibbana sukhamuttamang cirang tittatu saddhammo dhamme hontu sagarava sabbepi satta kalena sammadevo pavassatu yatharakkensu purana surajano tatevimang Raja rakkatu dhammena attanova pajang imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya buddhang pujemi imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya dhammang pujemi Imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya sanghang pujemi addhaimaya patipattiya jati jara vyadhi maranam ha parimuccissami idang me punyang asavakkaya vahang hotu Idang me punyang nibbanassa paccayo hotu. Mama punya bhagang sabba sattanang bhajemi. Te sabbe me samang punya bhagang labantu. Buddha sasanang cirang tittatu. Buddha sasanang cirang tittatu. Buddha sasanang cirang tittatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Appreciate for Bande's teaching. Okay, sadhu,
Sadhu,
sadhu.
sadhu. Thank you for
We'll
joining
see,
and supporting everybody.
we'll see Bande next week.
Yes. Okay. It's okay.
Sadhu